made $357 million, and the Vegas Raiders. So there is a ton of money in the NFL. And, one of the things that we were talking about is this truly a sustainable business model for the NFL? And, what makes it so, especially in the NFL, is because it's protected by the salary cap. So it did increase, and it will be increasing in 2021, but players currently make 47% of the revenue available to NFL owners. So that 47% is then split between all the players on teams. 48% is what it will jump to in 2021. And the current cap is going to be $198.2 million per team. So every team per year can spend almost $200 million.
Sure.
And even if you look at the Vegas Raiders, now this isn't assuming operating costs and what that is. I have no idea. These are privately held organizations. We won't get looks at their budgets. But that leaves, $157 million even for the Raiders to have within not only operating costs and then money for the owner. So there's plenty of money in the NFL, playing up there with the big boys. So it is certainly a sustainable model. Now, is Pat Mahomes going to be worth that? I think you could definitely argue it if they even win another Super Bowl, or he gets a couple more MVPs, or he has a sustained run of getting the Chiefs to division and AFC championships. Yeah, he's going to pay off for himself, probably alone in jersey sales and other merchandise. That comes back to the team, much less them constantly being sold out and getting great, huge revenue from TV deals because they're going to the playoffs all the time. So I think for Pat Mahomes, it's definitely going to pay off for the Chiefs. I get the point where it's a little jaded thinking about it. That it's like, man, I wish I had 400.
Well, not even just for myself, but it's like, that's a lot. That's like going to the moon type money. That's what kind of rattles me when I see those kind of figures going out there. And it is still a part of the sports physical. And of course, you made a great point of mentioning how the shelf life of QBs, can be really long. Aaron Rodgers has had his injuries, but getting paid. Stafford's had injuries, getting paid. Of course, Mahomes had a knee injury last season. He could that is a $500 million knee then right now.
Yeah.
Whoa. A knee that could not necessarily hold up for the full, next 2 seasons, let alone 10. So it's a big risk going on there, but you would also have to look at the history. They're often able to come back and continue playing. But that kind of money guaranteed, though, as well. If you have him on the shelf and you got to bring in someone else, that's... Wow, a lot of money is tied up in your cap.
Yeah.
You said it's nearly 200, like 190 something for your cap annual spending.
198.2 million a year.
So almost a fourth of that, basically a quarter of that, is going to one player. It's really it almost seems like a mismanagement, but I also understand that they got to be looking at this long term, that if he is successful for even the one or next 2 seasons, the Chiefs are winning, they're putting up those W's, and he's a highly entertaining player the way he's been, then no, you're absolutely right. You will see the fan base, I think, still rally around it, support it monetarily, and ticket sales and merch, and just seeing the guy everywhere and branding, putting that positive PR on who the Chiefs are. It very well likely could be a big win for both parties involved.
And the only thing that is a little shocking is, if you think about it, the Kansas City Chiefs are not a top moneymaker in the NFL.
No,
they are a long storied franchise, and they have a very cult following, especially here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
But for perspective, they made a total of $410 million last year. Now, almost every team made under $500 million, all the way up to team number 4. The Houston Texans made $497 million last year. Then you get to the Giants, the Patriots at $600 million, and then the Cowboys at $950. So they're a lower bottom half revenue earning team, but $410 million a year is still nothing to shake a stick at. And they can realistically afford to pay Mahomes, no problem. So when it really comes down to it, so yeah. But then that takes us into our next topic here. So
yeah, I'd like to talk about this. Who you got? Yeah, so we don't have a ton of time left. So yeah, let's get through this list. Yeah.
Yep. This is according to CBS Sports. So it's an article I found on CBS Sports, how he is ranking the top 10 quarterbacks going into 2020. So I'm going to run through the list really quickly. There's one huge person that's kind of left off this list that should stand out pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
Even a second person that you may think of. But number 10, Big Ben Roethlisberger. Number 9, Tom Brady. Number 8, Carson Wentz. Number 7, Matthew Stafford. Number 6, Deshaun Watson. Number 5, Dak Prescott. Number 4, Drew Brees. Number 3, Russell Wilson. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. Number 1, Pat Mahomes. Do you agree with this list? Do you feel that they legitimately left someone off?
No.
One person or two people. Yeah. And why not? And I think we know who the big leave out is, which is Aaron Rodgers.
Right, of course. I think at the very least you can bump Ben and put in Aaron Rodgers just because Roethlisberger has been getting older, was injured all last season. He has not really been – we don't know what anyone's necessarily been doing. I think it's – other than your top 3 guys who are just at peak condition. And also, I mean, Watson, still you can put him in as a younger player. Coming into this next season – I don't know. I would have my strong reservation is Roethlisberger really going to be your guy or not? Is he going to be able to is he good for a whole nother season? Whereas Aaron Rodgers, I would put that money down that he's going to stay healthy and be able to go out and compete. At least over Ben.
I would highly disagree.
Okay.
Not even close. And the big reason, Aaron Rodgers has not been an elite quarterback since 2016.
No, he got lucky with the success last year. Oh, yeah.
He barely he threw 4,002 yards last year, and that's not good enough for Aaron Rodgers. And what seals it for him, and it's not his talent because he's still highly talented. He's a great quarterback. The Packers didn't do anything. We talked about this on our draft episode recap. True. Our draft recap episode. They did nothing to help him out. Nothing. Outside of Devontae Adams, that team offensively is garbage. Hot, complete garbage. Aaron Jones is good, but Aaron Jones is not going to be catching the ball from Aaron Rodgers down the field, scoring touchdowns via the pass. So I think it's pretty easy to leave him off this list. Some other notables, Kirk Cousins obviously always has really great statistics, but he kind of flounders in the big time moments has always been his thing. But a big one for me that was kind of left off, and I think you can certainly have a discussion. Now he was a rookie last year, but I think he could easily play his way onto this list throughout the season, but it's Kyler Murray from the Cardinals.
Sure. Yeah.
I actually had him in a fantasy league, so I was able to really follow his games in and out. I was really kind of attached to that. Kid is a great player. And he's a little smaller, but he is a phenomenal electric player, and I think he could easily play his way onto this list. But I could easily see, Ben being an older player. He was injured all last season with a big elbow. But 2 seasons ago when he was there the whole year, he at age 30, that would have made him 36. He threw for 5,100 yards, which is pretty awesome. So
that's pretty good, definitely.
And I get it. Another person that I think you could probably sub out. I would rather sub this person out for Aaron Rodgers if I really had to. It would be Tom Brady. Tom Brady's been heavily declining for years. But the big thing that he's going into is he's never had an offense like this. He's never had a group of pass catchers like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate to catch the ball from him. He's going to be able to, I think, do just fine, and especially in warmer weather. The majority of his games, he's not having to play as many cold games as he used to. I could see him right there. The rest of the list, I pretty much agree with. I like it as an overall, but I certainly actually agree that Aaron Rodgers should have been left off this list.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at it too and seeing Stafford in the list. I'm a little surprised he's at 7, or even Carson Wentz has a little bit more to prove going into the season too, where I do agree. I think Tom Brady was a little surprised to be that low on the list, considering that name recognition. Love him or hate him, I think the guy really does probably deserve to be ahead of Matt Stafford.
I disagree. Okay. Matt Stafford has been an elite passing quarterback in this league for years. His defense has obviously been completely terrible, but he has some of the best pass catchers in the game. Just like Tom Brady does. But Matt Stafford can still sling that ball.
So I'm trying. I have to understand then your logic on it. If you put Rodgers on another team then that had the weapons available to him, would you then consider putting him in this list? Is it more about the people around him?
Yeah, I think the fact that he does have a lack of weapons, because if you look at all the players on this list, they all have weapons. The one big exception, I think, would be Deshaun Watson, who lost DeAndre Hopkins. Mm-hmm. But Watson being a much younger player, he's been able to prove to be able to do it with his legs. Now, he did get Brandon Cooks back. We're going to have to see how his health is. Along with the other group of wide receivers that they have there. So losing DeAndre Hopkins is bad for him. So, but he's been able to prove that he can do it with his legs. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been able to do as much with his legs recently. So I'm a little concerned about that. But Deshaun Watson's able to also throw it down the field a lot further than what Aaron has recently. Aaron's yard per attempt
I have to say
7.
You're doing an unfair
Deshaun's is over 8.
Eric, you're doing an unfair comparison though by saying like Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't belong in the list because he's got no one to throw to, even though he's a good quarterback. So screw him. Matt Stafford does have people and he's a good quarterback, and so he belongs on the list. But if you're trying to compare quarterback to quarterback, what I'm hearing is that if you put Aaron Rodgers on the Lions, and wouldn't you think he would be better than Stafford? I mean, Stafford hasn't really done a whole lot.
No, Stafford's a better passer, I think, than Aaron Rodgers. I hate to say it. Stafford has year in and year out proven
I hope there's some
able to throw the deep ball.
Small group of Green Bay fans that listen to this. Yeah. Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is not able to throw the deep ball as accurately as Matt Stafford.
Okay.
It year in and year out.
That hasn't won any playoff games for Stafford, though.
No, he hasn't. I'm not saying that there aren't certain things about Aaron Rodgers that I like better than Matt Stafford, but Matt Stafford is consistently and very quietly always been an elite passing quarterback.
Okay.
And been able to kind of get the job done as far as like passing stats go.
One quick question, because we focused around
healthier than Aaron Rodgers traditionally. Okay. Now, he was injured early in his career, and he was injured last year. But there was a huge window in that middle section there, after his early years and last year, that he was healthy. He played every single game. Very Eli Manning-esque of him. So, and you could not say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Well, all right. We've put a lot of focus on just a couple names there. So another thought, though, is on Mariota had a very successful year. Do you think he would have a chance of breaking into this list?
Mariota.
No,
Marcus?
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota. Didn't
Tennessee?
play it all last year. He played like 4 games and then got benched for Ryan
who am I thinking? Who's Tennessee quarterback? Why am I?
Ryan Tannehill.
Jeez. Yeah, I should know that.
I say
Tannehill was very successful.
They don't pass the ball enough for him.
Sure.
So Ryan Tannehill.
That was the Derrick Henry show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be very reliant on Derrick Henry. The Titans are just going to have a very low passing offense. Now, Brown is fantastic in Tennessee, and he's going to be a great player, but it's going to be a very low volume passing offense for Tennessee.
Fair enough. Okay. Just thinking of like teams that were, deep playoff run. For sure. Yeah,
they're going to be a good team. But they're very, very run heavy, and so if they get behind, then Tannehill will have to pass a little bit more. But if they're tied or closer in the lead, they're going to be running that ball, the majority of the game.
All right, enough deliberating over who can throw a football better. Yeah, getting excited over here. Let's talk about Lightning standings. I like this one in honor of the MLS season being back for 2020 and its new form. It's going to be a lot of fun, and so the odds, of course, on who is going to win are got to be out there. If you got sports, you got betting. So let's talk about how the MLS is shaping up for who's the favorite and who's the potential big money maker there for you. I don't want to call them